All right, all right, all right, all right. Can everyone hear us? Woo! We're at a mini demo inside. This is amazing. I'm Maria Plessel. I'm the executive director of MiniStar. We are a nonprofit community organization that is built around bringing people like you together around meaningful connection in the tech community. So before we get started, there's a little bit of housekeeping items, but if you're joining us virtually, hello. Make sure to introduce yourselves in the chat. Plug if you have community events going on. And if you're here, say hello to a new person. So I'm going to pass it over to Damien.
Hello, my name is Damien Reel. I'm the board of directors of MiniStar. And I'm thrilled to be able to talk about Minnedemo, which if you've not been here, it's amazing, which you know already because you've already met a lot of people. But if you haven't yet been to Minnedemo, you know that Minnedemo is the premier Geek Show and Tell because we have 7 demos, 7 minutes each, that is able to show working Minnesota-made tech, no slides. So all this is going to be walking on a tightrope, hoping not to fall down, and I know you're going to be supportive of everybody's going to be doing things. We have an amazing lineup today. We have Minnesota-made tech from hardware to keep your plants from dying, to a platform to connect trading card enthusiasts to find the rarest and most valuable cards, and everything in between. So as a reminder, we'd love to see what you are working on, so please apply at Minnestar.com, Minnestar.org/Minnedemo, and you too could perhaps someday take the stage here. We've got a hashtag going on. It is hashtag Minnedemo, so please be sure to share all of your highlights of the evening with us, and with that, I will turn it over to my co-board member, Charles.
Hello. Who's ready to see a demo and get me off stage? So I got the job of doing the housekeeping items that you said you were going to do. So we have a code of conduct. Everybody be nice and respectful. And second, if I can read it, if you're joining us virtually, please chat us up. Tell us any questions that you want us to ask the people on stage, and have a good time and stay out of trouble. And back to Maria.
And I'll close with just a couple thank yous to our community supporters and our sponsors. These literally cannot happen without your support, so thank you so much. We have incredible sponsors that you've seen on the screens. Our community supporters, can you raise your hand or clap if you're a community supporter? I see some folks around here. Those are folks that donate to the organization in any amount throughout the year, and we really, really appreciate it. Last but not least, we have our volunteers. Can people wave if you're a volunteer in the back or in the front? Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. These are really, really incredible people. These events can't happen without folks like that. So without further ado, I'm going to kick it over to Damien.
Good. And I'm using electronics rather than paper, so I get to be able to say, who's ready for our first Minnedemo? All right. Let's kick it off with our first presenter, who is Pennant. Come on up, Pennant.
All right, Jamie. Thank you. All right. Hello, everybody. Let's give it up for Minnedemo for getting us together in person. How's this? This is awesome, seeing faces. I'm Jeff. This is Jamie.
Hello.
We're here to demo Pennant, a custom-branded streaming video SaaS platform for performing artists. Pennant was born out of the pandemic. As stages went dark in early 2020, performing artists needed a new way to connect with their fans and deliver them content. We immediately realized there was a need for a long-term solution. For us, this was never about filling a void while we were at home. We all knew that we'd get to this place eventually, a place where digital experiences complemented live performances. The pandemic just expedited this transition. Pennant enables performing artists to deliver content to fans in a custom-branded digital entertainment experience. It's an OTT platform that just stands for over the top, which is a fancy way of saying video over the internet. If you have ever used Netflix or Disney Plus or Hulu, you have used an OTT platform. So let's have Jamie give us a tour of Pennant.
Thank you very much, Jeff. So let's take a look at a demo implementation that we worked on with our good friends at Rhymesayers Entertainment. If you don't know of them, they're a local indie hip-hop record label here in town. As you can see here, we've broken the primary experience out to allow for them to both highlight upcoming performances, specific categories, or even individual artist collections as you go down the page. We wanted this to be something that felt familiar to people who've used TV apps before, as our long-term vision is for this to be a TV-based experience. And as you can see here, Pennant can deliver video content in two primary ways: video on demand and live stream. So let's take a look at video on demand here. This could be anything from a large content library of historical performances, or it could be something like a premiere. A premiere is something that we consider a pre-recorded experience, maybe something that's never been released before, that is set to air at a specific date and time. In most circumstances, we imagine these live streams or premieres would be something that the artist is selling access to. We think of this a little bit like a ticket, but really what you're doing is you're purchasing access to it when it becomes available at a specific date and time. So we have a nifty little preview feature here, since we want to give you the taste of what a performance might be like.
Ain't nobody seen him around anymore. Ever since she left, it's like he doesn't even open the door. He'd rather be by himself anyway.
So once you watch that preview, you decide you want to go ahead and purchase access to this video so you can watch it. Because at the end of the day, we want artists to make money on these things. We want them to be able to sell their content and actually generate revenue. So making a purchase is pretty straightforward. The aim here is to make this as frictionless as possible. It's a simple username and password sort of thing. And then once you've done that, you get right into, Jeff is signed up here, you get into adding a credit card number. We make that really easy as well. It's a simple Stripe Connect integration. And then it processes that on the background. We charge the payment, and ta-da, we're going to watch some atmosphere here tonight.
For each one of them I've heard, every time I've been burned. Got a lot to teach, but even more to learn. Now I keep my eyes open and...
So we do a small little revenue share with the artists on the back end. Since we let them control their base pricing, though, we know that they're going to get everything that they want out of the price here. We see that as success going both ways. They make a little, we make a little, everybody does all right. So once you've made that purchase, it'll continue to exist in your library indefinitely, so you can go back and watch it again at any point in time. It doesn't just disappear on you after you've watched it. So another little piece of functionality that we have here that you probably saw as we were on this details page is a merch integration. Merch is crucial for performing artists, whether it's bands or dance troupes or something like that. Everybody needs to sell some merch to get by. So we have a small little Shopify integration here. The artist can just set up a collection on the back end. They can pick which collection they want to show on a details page. And right now we have it so it still bounces out to their store and you can complete the transaction there. But it's kind of a nifty little feature that we integrated there. From a tech stack standpoint, everything here we've built is built on top of Mux, which we're using for video processing and live stream delivery. And the front end is built with Vue.js using the Nuxt framework. So, did I hear a woo for Vue? I like that. I like that a lot. So, let's take a quick look at the admin side here. Any woos for the admin? No? Yeah, I like that. Right. So we want to give artists as much control as we can over this platform, so we like to make it really simple and easy. This is a Ruby on Rails admin backend for the artists. They can manage their videos, their live streams, and what they want to charge for any of those here. You can see we give the artists a lot of room to control a lot of room with the tools to control what everything looks like on that end. Structuring what you feature on the homepage is actually really easy. We create this little WYSIWYG drag and drop sort of program here where you can pick what you want to feature, what sort of categories you want to showcase. If you want to do an artist-specific sort of feature there, you can drag those around. And then we make it really easy to categorize content as well. This is really so that artists can both delineate the types of content that they have, but so that fans can see very easily what sort of stuff they want to watch. In this particular instance here, Rhymesayers is a large organization of individual artists, so we're just categorizing by artist. So over in the settings panel, you can get into a few things like branding and colors, a few simple things that you can set to really make this look your own. And that makes it really fast and easy for us to set up all sorts of different instances like these ones here. And I'll turn it back over to Jeff.
So as you can see, Pennant is up and running. We have a pretty mature infrastructure to host and deliver content, meaning we can get performers set up and running on their own channel today. We're currently in the process of onboarding some flagship customers, but we're actively seeking new artists, new performing arts organizations to be on the platform. So if you yourself, if you think you're a good fit for the platform, please reach out. If you know of anybody, a performing artist, maybe a dance company or a performing arts center, a record label, a media company, please put them in touch. You can go to our website at pennant.live or hit us up. We're going to be here all night. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's give it up for Pennant. That was awesome. All right, before we jump into our next presenter, which is great, it's called Migraine Insight, we're going to hear from Lawrence Wang, who is one of our incredible sponsors. He's also the Director of Digital Strategy Development at Cargill. So, Lawrence, come on up.
All right, hey, I'm honored to be here to be time filler while they get the audio-visual set up for the next presenter. But hey, want to thank everybody for being here. We're really excited to be part of the Ministar community and the Minnedemo community. Cargill is a food and ag company. We're 150 plus years old, but we know that in order for us to feed the world, we need cool technology, we need the best technology, and the best thing about Cargill is our purpose, to nourish the world in a safe, responsible, and sustainable way. And what's cool is that we're headquartered here, one of the biggest food and ag companies in the world. We're headquartered here in the Twin Cities with one of the best tech communities in the world. So give yourselves a hand. So we are early on our journey. We are building product that can help our customers, can help our businesses internally. So we're doing more than just normal, boring corporate IT stuff. We're building stuff that farmers can use, that food restaurateurs, that food service people can use. So if you want to help us make the food ecosystem better, let us know, look us up, and we're going to have lots of things. We need UX designers, engineers, and anybody who wants to be involved in cool product development. So thank you all, and thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Lawrence. All right, next up, our next demo is Migraine Insight. Take it away.
Yeah. Hello, Minnedemo. I'm Lynn Smith, founder of Migraine Insight. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Yeah, let's hear it from Ministar, right? It's a great event. I'm so excited to be up on the stage tonight. So let's face it, migraines, painful. Oliver Sacks calls them a neurological firestorm that happens in your head. Your head hurts, your body goes through all sorts of terrible things. When people spend hours and sometimes days laying in bed trying to get through a migraine episode, when they're not having a migraine episode, they spend a lot of time trying to figure out what's making them sick. So for people with migraines, there are different things that trigger migraine episodes, and for different people, they usually have more than one thing that's triggering their episodes. We know this. So I was actually down at the Mayo Clinic a few years ago working on a totally separate project, and I met a neurologist who noticed I was doing pattern finding. He pulled me aside, and he said, wow, migraine patients right now, the way we do pattern finding is 50 years old. We actually do it on paper. We do paper tracking for migraine patients to try to help them solve this problem. Somebody needs to come up with a better way to do it. So really quickly, let me show you. Right now, if you get diagnosed with migraines, you get a paper calendar. You're supposed to write down when you get a migraine what you think might have triggered it beforehand. So this is a really simplistic example, but you go back 4 or 5 months later with your doctor, and if anybody here is into pattern finding, if you're a daily coffee drinker, you're going to notice that there's some data missing here, right? So we used to yeah, right? The system was designed for really good ease of use, but not a lot of data collection. Somebody who really drinks coffee is going to have a pattern where you're actually proving 4 or 5 times in a row that coffee does not cause migraines for this person. So very simplistic example, but what I'm showing here is the paper tracking system is really terrible and points people in the wrong direction. So one of the sad outcomes here is that people with 15 or more migraines per month actually have a suicide rate that's 9 times higher. When people start cutting out things they love in their life, I use this example because I love coffee so much, they really get into a situation that doesn't sort of end well for a lot of people. We also know from clinical evidence that when you find the correct triggers and you're able to avoid your migraine episodes, people's outcomes, people do much, much better. So Migraine Insight is an app that's focused on helping people find their triggers, their migraine triggers better than the current system. There are actually quite a few migraine apps out in the store. Every single one of them asks people what their triggers are, assuming they're using this current system, to report that to the doctor. Migraine Insight is the first app to actually give people a toolkit to help them find what their triggers are. We've applied for a patent on some of our pattern finding technology. So he couldn't be here with me tonight, but Ivan Gorelik is our lead software engineer. And he took over my code base that I started this project with, and I am so grateful that he did. He has been building this app for the last 2 years in React Native with a Firebase backend. So everything I'm about to demo for you is built on that technology. Ivan is with WearCorp. So WearCorp is an international software company that's based here in Minneapolis, so I have to give them a shout out. I'm kind of biased, but I love me some WearCorp. And we're actually one of 2 projects tonight who's going to demo software from WearCorp. So, give it up for WearCorp. Local, yeah. Awesome. So, the demo itself. We have built a demo for you, actually an app that's in the store. And I'm going to give you some live code as soon as I can connect 2 wires together, which is not connecting. Who knew it would be so hard to get a USB-C thing into, oh, you know what, HDMI, okay. That was what we call a liveware error. Anybody know that joke? Okay. The liveware between the ears? Yeah. Okay, so the first thing you might notice with the Migraine Insight app, and this is our log, is that we're collecting a lot more information than the old system. So this actually automatically detected that I showed up at the Turf Club tonight. It's one of my locations that I put in to track in my app in this demo account. If I were to click on yesterday, you can see that it automatically pulled in some weather information. We had a storm yesterday. There was a pressure change. I took some medication in this, fictitious account. Had a migraine, went to the Grand Cafe. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so sad that Grand Cafe closed. If I went on today and I wanted to have a cup of coffee, I have made it incredibly easy to just add coffee to the log. So, trying to make it as easy as possible for people to get a clear picture every day of everything we can that might be affecting their migraines. And then, 3 or 4 weeks later, the app actually starts to find patterns. It starts to tell people, we found this here at the top of the list, ranks the most that we think correlates with your migraines. You want to look more closely. We're not telling you we know that milk causes your migraines, but we're telling you our pattern finding engine has concerns with things that are on the top of the list, and things further down the list are less concerning for us. So we also show people lists of when they have triggers and a migraine after. There's all different ways to look at information in this app. You can look at a calendar view. We have a barometric page, so people can look at the current barometric pressure and what's coming up for barometric shifts. So the point is to give people a toolkit to really try to understand what's going on in an expansive way that obviously the current paper tracking is not really doing. So with this project, we actually launched into an iPhone store landscape with some competitors that were pretty well funded, venture capital backed, millions of dollars. We didn't quite have the same funding levels, but we are now number 2 in the iPhone store. Yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you. We've had 50,000 users download it and try it. We're at an $89 a year price point, and we're showing some early steady growth. Sorry, I think I'm about to go over, am I? Yeah, okay. So I'll just wrap up by saying thank you to Ministar, first of all. We're about to do a pretty big PR push in marketing, so one of my asks is just if anybody in the community wants to reach out for that. We just launched on Android. We're having a great time on our team, and I'll just wrap up again by saying thank you so much. Thanks.
Fantastic. Let's give it one more time for Migraine Insight. Solving lots and lots of headaches with migraines. As we set up for our next presentation, we are very, very excited at Ministar to announce, and you here in the audience are amongst the first to know, that Mini Bar is going to resume. So we are going to be... Isn't that great? Isn't that great news? So we are going back to Best Buy in person, Mini Bar, Saturday, June 4th. So mark your calendars. I hope all of you are going to be able to join you and 1,000 of your other closest developer friends, which for one of the biggest unconferences ever, and one of the best, I would say. So I'm really excited to be able to present this next presenter. If you're into art, tech, animation, or into making your own, and the next word is GIF. So I know there's going to be lots of arguments as to how to pronounce that next word. But if you're into that next word, GIFs, you're going to really love this next presentation, which is Art Eater. Please give it up for Art Eater.
Hi, everybody. My name is Trygve Nordberg, and I'm a Minnesota born and raised software developer. And I'm here today to talk about a project called Art Eater. The goal of Art Eater is to make sketching and doodling hand-drawn animations on paper easy, fast, and fun for everyone. It removes the need for any expensive software, computers, or special technical training that has previously been needed to try your hand at hand-drawn animation. Art Eater can be used to make anything from experimental, complex artistic animations to just a silly, happy birthday personalized GIF you send your friend on their birthday. So let me show you how it works. Using one of the many Art Eater templates that are available, such as this one, you draw multiple frames of your art into this template, and then you use Art Eater to automatically turn your artwork into an animated GIF that you can immediately download to your camera roll or text to your friends or upload to social media. So let me do a quick, simple demonstration of how that looks. And bear with me, it's very difficult to animate and talk at the same time, but I'm going to try. So I'm going to draw a simple... Thank you. It's very supportive. Thank you. So I'm going to start drawing a very simple animation, and as any of you have done animation before, you know that it changes gradually in each frame. As you can see, the frames are numbered, so that says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's how I know which frames, what order to draw the frames in. I'm going to do some quick coloring, so it's not just black and white. And then if you'll bear with me for the magic of live demos, pretend that I just finished that entire thing at a pre-made version right here. So once you've drawn all your animation frames, you would then use Art Eater. You can open up by just scanning the QR code. Let me make sure the camera can see that. And opening up Art Eater on your phone. Then you open your camera and take a photo of the template. Then Art Eater starts digesting your artwork, eating your art, if you will. And what's happening now is Art Eater is working away in a GCP Cloud Run server built on Node.js and some computer vision libraries to use the 4 corner fiducial markers to predict the precise location of each of the animation frames. Then do some perspective correction using a technique called, oops-a-daisies, live demo. Let me try that again. The lighting situation is imperfect here. And it uses those 4 corner markers to then know exactly where the animation frames should be, and then corrects for perspective distortion using a technique called homography. And then it does a little bit of color correction as well, and then rearranges the pixel data from each frame region from 2D space into a sequence of frames across time, exporting a format that we all know and love called a GIF. So one cool feature about Art Eater is this is just one simple template. I've made dozens of templates. There's one that's simple that's a 3-frame animated loop, and there's some that are 64-frame loops that you can make. And you can even stitch them together to create longer animations. There are also more complex templates. And now I can immediately tap and hold that like an image and add to my camera roll or text to a friend or upload to social media, whatever I want to do with it. And what's another nice thing about these templates is they can be printed at any size. It could be a billboard or something that you can carry in your pocket. Here's a more advanced template that has 9 frames of animation. And then the bottom left region is used to create a static foreground that gets layered over your animation. And the bottom right region creates a static background that gets layered underneath your animation. And then you use this region as like a Scantron to select the frames per second to control the speed of your animation that you want to play back at.
you. Another fun thing about Art Eater is beyond the templates, there's also effects you can select when you upload your template. Simple things like settings like frames per second or blend modes, but then there's also more advanced effects like doing a pixel art or a blur effect, or one of my favorites is called parallax, which is a common foundational concept in animation that means when you move the background slower than the foreground, it creates an illusion of depth and movement, kind of like you're sitting on a train watching a landscape go by. And as an example, I pre-made a dorky animation here. So you can see there's 9 frames of animation over here. This will be the static foreground, and this is the static background. And then using the parallax effect, it turns out to get quite a bit of movement from a simple animation and ends up looking something like this. Okay, so that's Art Eater. The potential uses and products that I'm excited about exploring are, one, animator sketchbooks. Similar to how artists use sketchbooks, they could sit on a bus and sketch animation ideas without having to sit at their computer for 3 hours or sit on the couch and do that. The second would be in art education. I'd love to make interactive workbooks that allow art teachers to teach kind of the foundational concept of animation without needing to buy lots of computers and special software that require students to learn like hours and hours of training just to try their hand at animation. And the third is activity books and casual coloring books that use animation. So you imagine instead of drawing 1 frame of SpongeBob and letting it go back, sit on the shelf, or coloring it in, you could color in 6 frames of SpongeBob and then get an animated GIF back of it doing a silly dance that you could send to your friends. And while I don't have copyrights to do SpongeBob, I do have my first animated activity GIF book called Extremely Silly Faces. And you can see it's just as I described. You just color in silly faces, and you get back an animated GIF that you can send to your friends. And one cool thing is throughout the book, it kind of takes off the training wheels. So by the end, you're actually drawing your own silly faces, building your confidence, and then completely creating them from scratch by the end. So you're training someone to animate. That's the bet. Thank you. So that's it. That's Art Eater, making hand-drawn animation accessible to everyone. And please come say hi to me if you have any questions. I have a bunch of these cards if you want to try your own. Some are blank and some are templates that you can just color in and things like that. Funny gifts you can send your friends. So Trygve Norberg, Art Eater, thank you.
Before you leave, that was one of the best demos I've seen in a long time, so congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
You had me at Node.js. So great job to Art Eater. I hope everyone here gets a chance to make some awesome sauce animations. Again, my name's Charles Edge. I'm on the board here at Minnedemo, and it's sessions like this that just make me want to keep doing this over and over. So thank you for being so engaged with this session and for showing up. Are there any Terabyte sponsors in the room who want to come up and talk about why they're a sponsor? Any hands? I can't see any hands because there's too many lights. So while we're getting the next session set up, I guess I'm excited to introduce, can you tell that I'm reading this? I'm excited to introduce our next presenter of the night, solving the common problem we all struggle with in Minnesota. How do you get someone to shovel your snow when you are out of town and don't have children to do it for you? So we'll let him have a few minutes to get all set up.
How's it going? I'm Dennis Mora, and I'm the owner of DZ Lawn Care and Snow Removal. Thank you. We do landscaping and snow removal. I started the business in 2018. And what I'm about to show you is a snow removal app. And there was an issue that came up when I was trying to find snow removal for my mother's house. And what I found was it was hard to find help for snow removal. As a customer and as a business owner, I spent probably 30 minutes and then 2 days waiting for a response. And found it's an issue to just find someone to come and do snow removal on the same day. So there's existing apps that are around, but they're not locally owned, and they tend to be more expensive. And on top of that, it's very ideal for people who have snow blowers that break down or they have an injury, they want to get a gift for someone. It's very straightforward. I won't be able to show how to sign up, but basically to sign up, it's very straightforward. You got to pick an image. And then once you log in, you'll be able to get to the welcome screen here. You'll have your name. And you'll be able to post a service request from here. And from here, the one thing that I wanted to do was be able to have more than one address. So if you want to do a service address for your property and someone else, like your mother, child, or friend, you can add it on there. And once you choose it, you'll hit continue. And I made it very straightforward to choose what you want to get done as far as sizing. Some apps, they get very complex and they ask you how many inches of snow you have on the ground. I don't want you to have to go out there with the ruler and measure it. So to keep it straightforward, you pretty much select your how many cars you can fit there. A pretty standard driveway size is 4 cars. So I'll use my mother's driveway, for instance. It's about a 2-car driveway. And you choose, it's 1 car wide, 1 car long. And then you have different driveway shapes. You have a straight driveway, a curved driveway, a P-shaped driveway, and a horseshoe driveway. And this is where, on the contractor end, on my end, it increases the price per percentage because it's a little bit harder. Imagine driving a plow truck around a circle. You have to back up a lot of times and have to watch behind your back as well. And then, so we'll choose a straight driveway to keep it simple. And you can add salting, shoveling. You have different areas you can shovel. And you can choose whether you want it as soon as possible. You can choose a date and time to have the service. Typically, you say it's within 12 hours. And then on the back end, there's an admin panel. When you click continue, you gotta choose it first. When you click continue, it'll show you your pricing. So for a 2-car driveway, it'll be about $40. And on the back end, I thought about it when I got this made. Let's say you have a 10-inch snowfall. I've had days where I have 100 calls, so I limited the order limit. So if I try to order at this point, it'll say the order limit is reached. I'll show you the other screens on here. So once you make the order, it will come on here to a kind of like a pending screen. So currently, this one was completed, and it shows the details. For support, I added frequently asked questions, contact us now. And then on the profile, you have all your information here. So while I'm logging into the admin panel, I'll tell you about the app. I had it developed by a freelancer on Fever. And I'm not a techie guy, and he told me he used Flutter, Firebase, and Node.js. So it's available currently on Android and iOS. And let me log in here. The one thing I wanted to make different from the other apps that are around, they're not locally owned, and I was astonished at the price at my mother's driveway. I just found that they're taking advantage of people locally, and I wanted to have a fair service as well as treating contractors equally, because I started with these other apps as well. And what tends to happen is the bigger they get, the more they side with the customers and they leave the contractors on the side frustrated. So that's one thing I want to make different. Bear with me here. It's not working here. But pretty much on the admin panel, you have control over how many orders you can place. There's a markup percentage. You can mark it from 0 to whatever percent you want. And one thing I wanted to also do is I've noticed when I'm plowing around is sometimes cities don't get to the sidewalks soon enough, and I often see people on wheelchairs riding on the road, so that's really unsafe for them. So I want to maybe offer it to the municipalities at a later point. And I also want to eventually make this into a landscaping app as far as lawn mowing and leaf cleanup, but that just made it complicated. I wanted it to make it very simple. And basically what I'm looking for is any advice. The freelancer that made this, I don't know if you'll be able to help out at the end, so maybe to make improvements later on, any possible investments and exposure. And I thank Ministar for making me, choosing this for me, or making me available to do this, and thank you everyone for showing up.
Give it up. Give it up for Snow Off. Great job.
Thank you.
All right. Before we jump into our next presenter, does anyone have any community announcements? By community announcement, I mean, is there a community event, organization? Do you need volunteers? Not that you're hiring, right? So does anyone have any community announcements that they want to take the mic for? Yeah, Ben.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ben. I'm from Forge North. I'm the one who keeps cutting off these interesting presentations because Maria told me to. And if you, I think it's like forgenorth.com/resources/VC office hours. If you're working on something that could look for funding in the future, you can get 20 minutes with, I think there are 4 of the most, prominent venture capitalists in the Twin Cities to get to know them, to get to know the community. Don't pitch them, but they can maybe point you towards who's going to be most receptive to your pitch when you're ready to make it. Forge North, VC office hours.
Awesome. Yep, we got one more. Tyler.
My name is Tyler Olson. I'm a member in the Entrepreneurs Organization Minnesota chapter. There is an Entrepreneurs Rally coming up on, let me double check the date here. It says May 12th, so only a few weeks away. Many of you have been there before. For entrepreneurs, by entrepreneurs, mentorship. Think speed mentorship. This will be a full-day event versus just a half-day event. So it'll be new, it'll be awesome. Speed mentoring for entrepreneurs, by entrepreneurs. EntrepreneurSrally.org.
Awesome. All right, we'll have another opportunity. So if you have some other ones, we'll ask you again in a little bit. All right, so with our next demo coming up here, I need a show of hands. Raise your hand if you have any house plants. Raise your hand if you have house plants. All right, raise your hand if you've killed your house plants before. All right, well, hopefully this will help. So give it up for Flora Plant Care.
Thank you so much. Hi, I'm Nick. I'm the creator of Flora Plant Care here. It's essentially insurance for your house plants via true automation. A little about me, I'm a journalist by background, but a couple years ago I got really wrapped up in the ability for just about anyone to learn some things, spend some time, use their passion to develop hardware solutions to real problems out there. So that's what I did. I taught myself C to program Arduino specifically. I learned Python to deal with APIs. I learned enough JavaScript to realize I'm not going to be building any apps anytime soon. I learned design for CNC machining and 3D printing to create parts. And then I learned PCB design and more than I ever wanted to know about the electronics supply chain. It's a mess, folks. But while I was learning all this fun stuff, I ran into the problem I wanted to solve. As you've all experienced, dead plants, sad plants, ugly plants, not exactly the ideal interior design motif to have a bunch of dead sticks. I became acutely aware of this when I went on a trip and I left my girlfriend a long list of plant care instructions for my mini plants. But I forgot a very key piece of advice for a very sensitive fern, and I came back and it was at death's door. Very sad, of course. It was very sitcom as well. I was hugging my girlfriend. Oh, it's so great to see you, honey. Looking over her shoulder at this absolutely mangled plant. We've all been there. But happy ending. I married that woman. She's my wife now. She's great. Thanks. And that plant, that inspiring plant story is thriving today. That's a look at it now. Of course, this is a bigger problem than just my fern or your few dead plants out there. Every dead plant that goes out to someone's house adds tons of carbon to the atmosphere, wastes oceans of water, ends up in landfills, and creates more greenhouse gases. No good. Of course, the plant industry is complicit here. Every doomed plant they sell is a reason to go back, right? So I looked out in the marketplace, and there wasn't a lot that really fit my needs. There was a lot of sensing devices that would give you a lot of data while your plant died. Then there's a lot of these watering gizmos built for greenhouses and pot farmers, not exactly anything you want to put on your shelf. So I got to work with 3 key ideals in mind: specific care guidance, true automation, and absurd simplicity. As you can see, it's very simple, but I'll start with specific care guidance. Ask 5 people, 5 plant nerds out in the audience here, how to take care of a plant. You're going to get 6 answers. It's ridiculous. There's databases out there for botanists and stuff, but those generally will tell you what a plant wants in its environment, not in your window. So I developed this database with exacting ranges for temperature, humidity, sunlight, as you can see here. Soil moisture, of course. Currently, I have about 150 of the most popular house plants in there. That enables my second ideal, true automation. There's a lot going on in this little box here. There's all those sensors I just mentioned. It checks against the local environment, checks against that database, and will spit out some automated plant care advice. Say your ZZ plant is getting too much sunlight, it might ask you to move it toward the center of the room or into another window. That's very easy. Of course, it does automatic watering. I hope it's blinking right now, but it should be. It'll provide automatic watering exactly the right amount of water when the plant needs. This seems like something you could do with a simple timer, but that's not quite the case. Of course, you have to see what's going on in the soil to register how much water you actually need. And plants like to get their water when they're actively absorbing sunlight. So the ideal time to water an east-facing plant might be just before sunrise. For a west-facing plant, maybe that's 1, 2 p.m. when that sun is coming into the window. I don't know about you, but I'm a big plant geek and I'm not getting up before dawn, or am I going to shift my whole day around the Minnesota sunlight? That's a little crazy. So that's all taken care of. There is a dashboard, of course, for the data nerds to check it out and see their trend lines and what's going on their plant. But I designed it to be very simple. I basically never have to look at this. It sends out push notifications or texts or emails, whatever you desire, to give you that plant advice or tell you that the reservoir is empty. I will quickly show you how easy that is if everything behaves. The green light on the front means it is all good. Oh, blue light means it's watering. It worked. That's fantastic. Very simple, as you can see. One indicator light keeps everything going. Green, good. Blue, watering. Red, bad. Very simple. I want to talk about the absurd simplicity I mentioned. I'm a big fan of these killer Internet of Things products, like the Snoo bassinet for any parents out there. I know I love that thing. Anyone who's tried the meter thermometer for their grilling, it's a really fantastic product. Makes it very simple. That's what I tried to do here. And it seems to be working great. I have about 5 years of data if you put it all together, and no dead plants yet. The first iteration was built on Arduino, basically a spaghetti of wires and little breakout sensors. This I would call a version 1. Also pretty sketchy. I wouldn't bring it to an airport if I wanted to keep flying. Here is version 2, a little sleeker, a little sexier, but it was designed to be placed into a pot, which I found was pretty clunky because if you have a plant that you want to move with a season or a very small plant, that just won't work. So I integrated it all into the single device here. Very simple. As you can see, on top, I'll try to, well, you can see it. On top is a little dish of rocks that, of course, you all want to show off your pretty rocks, but it also serves as a barrier for debris and sunlight that would promote algae growth. So that's Flora. Why am I here, though? As might be very clear, I've been building this in my basement and learning as I go, and it's been quite a ride, but I'm looking to take it to market, and I'm looking for collaborators out there. So if you're an app geek that loves plants and wants to build something, or an investor that wants to tap into a $60 billion segment with a new little piece of it, drop me a line. Introverts and virtual folks, you can check out the QR code here. Everyone else, come find me at the bar. I will be the guy with the plant. Thanks, everyone.
Going for Flora. Keep it going for Flora, everybody. There's a silver thumb. All right. As we get ready for our next presenter, let's hear from you. It's time for community announcements. Are there anyone in the audience have any community events, happenings, meetups, volunteer needs? This is not the time for being gross. This is the time for focusing on the community. So does anyone have any announcements about community events, happenings, meetups, or volunteer needs? If so, come on up and let us know.
Hi, I'm Shalisa DeMuth. I'm the Executive Director. Hi, Ben. Executive Director at Beta, Twin Cities Startup Week, and Tech.mn. Tomorrow is the Beta Showcase. It's a science fair. Thank you, Maria. Science fair for startups. So come out tomorrow. Forgotten Star Brewing Co. In Fridley is where we're hosting. 6 to 9 p.m., 20 startups are demonstrating their products. There will be a prize awarded, the Golden iPod, so the community gets to vote on that. Come out and join us for a drink and a lot of great startup time. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. Excellent. Startup Science Fair. Go to it. Other announcements? Yes, come on up.
Hello. So UXPA Minnesota is having an event on Thursday on Zoom. It is a personal introduction into accessibility. You can find the event and register for free online, so that's Thursday at 6 p.m.
Cool. Thursday, 6 p.m. Accessibility. Thank you. All right. Any other announcements? I think we might have time for one more if there are any. Hearing none. All right. Our next presenter is awesome. Give it up for Brevity.
Hello, everybody. Round of applause for all the entrepreneurs that performed already. This is not easy to get up here and pitch. My name is Kelvin Johnson. I'm the CEO and co-founder at Brevity. And I want to give a quick shout out to my co-founder, Max Huck, who's not with us here, but he is online and in spirit. And we help everybody in this room pitch and present with brevity. Now, by show of hands, how hard, time-consuming, or overwhelming can it be to just create a pitch from scratch? Anybody has any difficulty with that? Well, we got a lot of good pitchers in here, right? But the more challenging part when it comes to creating a pitch and persuasive presentation is competing with 3 external factors. One, we're competing with shrinking attention spans. We're competing with low comprehension rates. And the third, which you may find surprising, is we're competing against Zoom fatigue. So as a result, people have less time and patience to clarify what you presented. And this is why we created Brevity. It's a place where you can easily create persuasive and powerful pitches with artificial intelligence. Now, in 2021, when we launched our minimum viable product, which I'll show you a short snippet of, we helped founders raise over $2 million in capital year to date. So before we dive into how this works, I want to talk about our tech stack. We code in Django, Python, and PostgreSQL. Now, the best way to explain how Brevity works is really to highlight the story of one of our users, Sophia Khan. Sophia had her very first venture capital pitch at a Starbucks in Houston, Texas. And she unfortunately received some bad feedback that she was way too verbose, she missed essential concepts, and that she could have benefited from a story. This changed when she started using Brevity. So when Sophia logged in, the first step was getting to the Create Your Pitch page. She was able to enter her pitch name, pitch goal, her audience, which was angel investors, but our users' favorite feature is our timing logic. So once she enters that 3 minutes on the timing logic, that was for an angel investor pitch. If you think about startup demo days, there's usually having to convey value under a time constraint. Our algorithm then calculates and recommends the number of statements, sections, and slides needed to keep Sophia's pitch on pace and on time. So let's dive into how Sophia used our software. So we're going to go to Voithos' pre-seed pitch. And one of the pain points that VC brought up was missing the core concepts that were needed. So we trademarked a pitch framework called SOUL. The best pitches and presentations have SOUL, not only from an emotion perspective, but also the core concepts your audience must know in the right order. The S stands for state to target audience and problem. The O stands for outlining how and why your solution works. The U is getting into uncovering that proof and potential, and the L is about listing capabilities and needs. So Sophia was able to write her pitch script in this platform. So quick summarization, Sophia, who's the target audience? Sophia is a surgeon. And the problem that she encountered as a surgeon, she was spending more time charting medical data than actually spending time serving her patients. So how and why did they solve this problem? Essentially, they created the Siri for medical charting. So instead of spending countless hours typing out patient data, they essentially created a voice-over platform with their mobile app to streamline that process that's hooked up to the electronic medical record. Moving along, people want to know what that proof is, whether that's testimonials, whether that's patents, whether that's revenue growth. And what's that potential? How many surgeons are being impacted by this problem? How many hospitals? What is that market size? How fast is this market growing? And then lastly, people really need to know why you. That's where that list capabilities and needs comes into play. Oh, here we go. Perfect. List capabilities and needs. Sophia is a surgeon. She knows this problem at heart. Who are the advisors, and what do you need to succeed? Once what is that ask, and what are you going to do with that money to get to that next major milestone? So once Sophia's completed her first pitch script, there's really 2 options to improve. One, you have pitch intelligence, right? So when we go to the pitch intelligence page, you can see that there's room for improvement in clarity, concision, and timing. One thing to note in particular is the timing. For a 3-minute pitch, you can already see that Sophia is already 15 seconds over. So instead of using the video recorder or using Google Docs, as you're typing out your pitch script in our platform, you're getting real-time analytics. The other feedback system that Sophia leveraged was our peer feedback. So if you don't want artificial intelligence feedback, she can clearly type in email addresses. Hey, Kelvin, can you leave me pitch feedback? If I can type. Right? You can submit it. That pops up on the screen. Clearly, Sophia asked me 4 times. I'm a bad pitch coach and have not gotten back to her with feedback. But as a result of using certain pieces of our beta software and using our coaches, she was able to exceed her fundraise goal. Now to the fun part. Sophia is one of 200 beta users from 2021, and we were really able to get into the weeds of what we can do to make this product stickier and really help increase that lifetime value. So the big thing as you go into the new UI UX, we're anchoring our intelligence based off of the personality type of your user. And in this quick assessment, you'll be able to type in the buying personality. The second is people don't want a tool just for the startup fundraise pitch. So we've identified over 84 different pitch types across a wide range of categories, and each pitch has a special DNA along the way. As we go to the statement creation page, our users told us that we need more prescriptive guidance along the way. So when you click that Brevity B, we're not only giving you the theme of how to answer that question, but we give you how an entrepreneur has also answered that specific question, almost a TurboTax, but for a pitch. And if you want even more guidance, we've created an examples library where based off of the pitch type you create, you're gonna get 5 best-in-class examples that's in a split-screen fashion. Other thing to highlight before we gotta jump is just updated UI UX with our pitch intelligence page. You get a high-level brevity score, and then you're getting no different than Grammarly in the per statement basis what you need to do to improve the different components. So we're in the middle. We just launched our new round. We're in the middle of a $1 million fundraising round. We're looking for investors, but we're also looking for people to join our beta list. You can go to beta@brevitypitch.com, and our product will be launching end of this summer. Thank you.
Great job. So I had the joy of sitting through one of his pitches one-on-one, and I gotta say, not everyone can withstand questions like, oh, is that a K nearest neighbor? When you get into the machine learning, and he nailed it. So good job here on public, and good job one-on-one. Yeah. So is everybody having a good time? Who wants to come see some kids do this on campus in June? So back to campus is everything you know and love about Minnedemo, and all of the presenters are students. So that will be fun. That's in June, I think June 30th. And it's at St. Thomas University. I knew I'd get there eventually. And here to say a few words about the event from our school host community is Christina Schultz, Executive Director of Business in a Digital World at the Opus College of Business. So thank you, Christina.
Thanks. Thanks. It's a mouthful. The Opus College of Business, St. Thomas University, Business in a Digital World. My name is Christina. I am the new executive director there, and we are in business for 3 reasons. 1, to support our students, faculty, and staff around emerging technology, to make sure that we promote emerging tech and business, and that our students, faculty, and staff are equipped to utilize the power of technology for the common good. 2, we're here to engage with industry, our industry leaders. We bring them into the college to help teach courses. We work with them to develop programs that are useful to them. And thirdly, we're here to support the community. So we're here to support you. We are hosting Minnedemo back to campus in June. Yay. And we really hope it's our first time hosting, and we're super excited to invite you into our campus. There will be food and drinks, and we want to see you there, so please come. We're excited to be the host, and we'd really invite you into our space. Thank you.
Thank you. And thanks for hosting. So the next presenter is NextGem. Speaking of people who are super... Okay, just tap me on the shoulder. So speaking of people who are super interested in their machine learning and their tech, talking to these guys, you're like, oh my goodness, they know exactly what algorithm they're using to do light detection and to do, well, I don't want to take their thunder away, so I'll let them actually talk about it. Who collects stuff? Who's super into what they collect? The guy in the blue sweater right there, ask him what he collects. Not right now, one-on-one. Anyways, I'll let them get all set up, and we'll break.
Oh, message me.
All right, everybody, can you hear me? So we're NextGem.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you to Ministar for this opportunity. We really appreciate it. My name is Scott Wright.
I'm Dave Anderson, and we're co-founders of NextGem, a new app for iOS to help image, manage, and share your trading card collections, as well as help you connect with other passionate collectors.
So the idea for NextGem actually came about during a guys' weekend up north at the cabin, where as collectors ourselves, we were talking about some of the issues in the industry, specifically a severe lack of technical innovation. Some of the websites looked like they were straight out of 1998. People were still using spreadsheets to manage their collection, and bad photo images were making the experience bad for both buyers and sellers. So after dealing with these types of issues day in and day out, we thought there has to be a better way.
And the result is NextGem, which is built on a standard Swift-based iOS phone app backed by Node.js API calls to a hosted AWS environment for centralized data storage, Elasticsearch, and Python TensorFlow machine learning. So without further ado, let's take a look at NextGem.
All right, so let's start out with our intelligent scanner system. And we actually utilize a number of different technologies to make this happen. And let's start out, we'll image a card of Anthony Edwards, who's going to be playing his first playoff game here in about 20 minutes. Go Wolves. So as you can see, we're going to image the front and the back. And one cool thing we've done, and some of the technical solutions we utilize here were computer vision, object detection, and optical character recognition. And you can see the frame here, it's going to adjust a little bit for a raw card. And snap the front and the back. And then for graded cards, we use that optical character recognition to extract some data. So not only do we identify whether it's a raw or graded card, we identify whether it's a BGS or a PSA or SGC, which are the three biggest graders. And what that does is it tells you where certain information is on the slab, so we can extract that for you, which I'll show you a little bit later. So there's a Kirby Puckett rookie. Oops. I cut that one off a little bit. Sorry, Kirby. Yeah. And last but not least, we'll finish with the non-sports card here. We got a rookie of Kanye West and Taylor Swift. Team Kanye, Team Taylor, raise the hands. All right, so, and just like that, we will snap the final image. And it is hit upload, and they are on their way. And while those are uploading and processing, I will go and look at some of the other features here, starting with my collection. There it is. So this is my collection. These are all the cards we scanned, and as you can see, you can click in there, and for each card, it's completely searchable, so you can search and find specific card that you're looking for. And when you click in, this is a card that we image. You get not only the front and the back image, but then we also automatically divvy it down into quadrant images, so you can really evaluate the condition of the card and look really closely and notice any imperfections. And then at the top of the label, you see some areas that are obscured on both the front and the back. That's actually a serial number and a barcode. And we do that with computer vision. We obfuscate that, and that's for privacy. And that's actually toggleable. You can turn it off. And then when you go back up, after you toggle it, it will show. And then also, too, from that QR code, we extract a link for more context on the population data. And then we make that a clickable link for you so you can open up and learn more about the card. And then to take it another deeper level yet, if you want to learn more about the player through our relationship with StatMuse, we have a link that you can open up and you can check out relevant information. How's this player doing? What are his career stats? When was he born? What's his career averages, etc. So that is my collection and card details.
So next we'll check out our search feature. Go in here and, oh, sorry, my phone's dying. So here we'll search for Scott. You can see we can find both card results and member results. We go in, this is completely sortable and filterable. You can sort by best match, alphabetical, lowest to highest price. And you can filter by genre, name, set, basically any facet of the card.
There you go.
Okay, next we'll do our discovery feature. Here we have an Instagram-style discovery feed. You can just scroll infinitely to your heart's content.
And then when you see something you like,
you can click in, say, I want to check out this card. I can hype it, tell the owner that I like it. I can bookmark it and save it to my watch list for later. I can even message the owner of the card straight from card details here. Try to work out a deal or a trade. And if I want to present them with some possible trade options, I can build a card carousel rather than just sending a stream of image after image after image after image. We've built out a slightly sleeker design here. Next, we'll check out our member profile. And this is the feedback account, but you can see you have followers, you can see who you're following, you can see the cards on your watch list. You can tell a little description about yourself and put in a profile picture. You can link all of your social media accounts here. I don't have any link to this specific account, but and you can also access our settings menu from this screen.
All right, and last but not least, let's go back. Remember those cards we imaged at the beginning? So here they are. They are finishing processing now. And let's go to the Anthony Edwards. So as you can see, we have a nice tight crop here. This was accomplished using computer vision, image processing, and deep learning techniques. And we also did perspective correction using computer vision techniques, line detection algorithms, contour detection, and perspective wrapping. And then we also extracted all the data off the slab, so you can see it's a 2020 Panini Prism, Prism Silver, Anthony Edwards, and that's already entered in here, so you don't have to do that because nobody likes to do data entry, right? And then once you can just hit save, and then that card is now in your collection. And also, it's at the top of the discovery feed for other people to check out, enjoy, and maybe contact you about. So with that, that's NextGem. If you or anybody you know is interested in cards, please come talk to us. We're private beta right now, but we can hook you up with some early access codes. And we're also looking for a superstar UX designer. So if you have any leads, send them our way as well.
Thank you very much.
Let's give it up one more time with NextGem. You don't know how much self-control it took when he put up the Kanye and Taylor Swift for me not to jump on stage saying, I'm going to let you finish, but... All right, so shout out to not just them, but all of our amazing presenters today. Let's give them all a really great round of applause. It's a great group. So as we wrap up, we want to thank the Minnestar board, our volunteers, our presenters, sponsors, our supporters, and most of all of you. Thank you so much for coming out tonight.
Yeah, no, thank you all so much. We hope to see you at Minnedemo Back to Campus, June 30th, and Mini Bar coming back June 4th. So take care, enjoy the rest of the evening, and good night.